Couldn't move. Yeah, it's the wireless. I literally lost a match to a 3-star diamond scrub because the wireless sucks. So now my rankings are going to be all fucked up because this game is a piece of fucking shit. Can't do anything. Can't block. I can't do combo. Dude, I can't. Dude, the connection is awful. This stupid fucking wireless connection. This is bullshit. I can't do combo. What? I can't even do my combo. That's what I did. So lame. Fucking awful gameplay because of the fucking connection. Fucking button masher in lag, and I can't do anything about it. Look at that! Can't get my combo because of the lag. Can't move. He wins. That's level 3. He won. Yep. That was level 3 right there. Nothing. So I lost 2 placement matches to a scrub because I had to play a wireless connection because the game literally wouldn't give me a better connection. I couldn't fucking play. It's not my fault. That's the game. Look, again, it's doing it. Stop fucking giving me bad connections in my placement matches. What the fuck is wrong with this fucking game? Stop that they let people play ranked on wireless. So I'm probably gonna lose to this Cammy. So now my rankings get screwed up even worse. Look, it's the same people. Same fucking shitty Cammies over and over. Isn't that great? Of course, drive rush, stuck me on fight. Of course, empty jump pattern play. Mash jab, it's the same pattern with every fucking shitty Cammy. Same thing. Literal same exact gameplay. Are you kidding? Passes through her. So I give up. I'm done. After this, I'm out. Not wasting time. I parry nothing. It's insane. Look, you do nothing. Look, what the fuck? Can't do anything. Complete waste of everyone's time. Play, unstoppable online, complete waste of everyone's time. So now they're gonna give me another 1-star diamond because of the fucking bullshit pattern play player. It's terrible. Blanca ball. The connection passes through and she mashes a button.
It's at 3%, okay? Can you roll down the back window for me? Okay. Just keep your hands on the seat for me, okay? I'm Deputy Clark with the Sheriff's Office. The reason for the traffic stop is your tint appear to be too dark, okay? Roll it up halfway and I'm going to test it.
Right. This doesn't have to.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, are both of them broke? Currents. Alright, so I don't have any window tint, but it looked very dark from the side, okay? Alright. Yeah. Let me check the back window though. Okay.
I can't hear you, sorry. Sorry, just keep looking this way then. He don't turn it down.
Alright, the back window is extremely dark. It's at 3%, okay? Cannot be that dark. You got your driver's license on you? Y'all got anything with y'all name on it? Okay, this is your vehicle? Okay. Did you know the tent was illegal? Alright, roll down this window for me, man. You got anything with your name on it?
No, sir.
You don't have anything with your name on it?
Oh. How many cars?
What about you, man? You got anything with your name on it? Nothing?
You got a question?
I can't hear you, bud. You recently lost it? What's your name? Yes, I'm pulling over for the tent. Exactly. And nobody in the back seat wearing their seatbelt. If you want this to go smooth, just cooperate. What's your name? Myquan what? What is it? Okay. Grab something with your name on it, please.
Does anybody need mine?
Yes, we need your ID as well.
I ain't gonna
Hey, I'm gonna be straight up with you. This is the only opportunity I'm giving you to give me your real name. If I find out you're lying, you're going to jail for it.
Oh, yeah, that's my real name.
Watch the, yeah. Unlock this door for me. Alright, come on out for me.
Me?
Yep. Hold up, Mr. Williams. Not yet. Not you. One at a time.
I'm just grabbing my phone.
Okay. Step back there by the push bar, please.
By where?
The push bar back there? There on the front of the hood.
Step out now.
Yeah. Do you have any weapons or anything on you, man?
Weapons?
Okay. Hold up. Stay right there where you're at.
Step out now. Hold up.
One hand at a time.
Yes, sir. One hand. Keep this up. My leg kind of fucked up too, sir.
All right. Just slide that left arm over here, okay? Come on out.
Let me grab my phone.
You got anything else on you
No, sir.
besides whatever was in that plastic bag?
I just picked that up for real.
You just picked it up?
Because I was sniffing.
Okay. Coming out for you said you'd be sniffing it?
I was. You feel me?
Okay. Do you have any more on you?
Guns, knives, anything else crazy, right?
Just be honest with me. Don't reach for anything. Do you have any more on you?
I'm not reaching, sir.
Do you,
Get out, bro.
Sir, please, hey, sir, you can, don't forget my,
yeah. We'll figure it all out, okay? Hey, do me a favor. Just sit right there by that headlight, okay?
my bad.
We got a couple detained.
You hear me?
What?
That's ain't nothing but,
Well, you said you sniff it, and it's a white powder.
yes, sir. You put my back pants up?
Yeah.
Please.
I'm not fucking gonna kick you,
Please.
boy.
Yeah.
Put my back
No,
pants
chill
up.
out. No!
My back.
What's her deal?
My back pants. I told you she got medical part. No, you can pull them up, please.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
thank you. I ain't nothing but corroborate. Straight. I'm good. I ain't gonna go do it. Like this. Let me take my shoes off. Please.
How the stars here? How the stars here? Because y'all just violated every last one of my rights. I'm my mama.
We'll put it over my car.
Down! Why are you holding me?
Alright. You got my phone off the back of the car.
Yeah, I didn't say you were going to jail. I'm just sending you in the back of the car. Let me figure out what's going on.
Why you
Okay?
sitting me in the back though?
Because you're being detained right now until I figure out what that is, okay?
Oh, I can tell you what it is.
What is it? Just be honest.
It's really like, it's really fake. It's really fake.
Fake?
I don't
Fake
do,
what?
I don't do drugs.
Fake what?
Powder mixed with other.
It's what? It's
It's
fixed
really powder mixed.
like powder cocaine?
I don't know if it's cocaine. It was David.
What did they tell you it was?
Shit.
How do you ingest it?
How you ingest it?
Yeah, you said you sniff it?
That's what they say. You can sniff it.
Okay. I just want to make sure it ain't fentanyl or nothing, so none of us die,
no,
okay?
hell no.
All right, have a seat, all right?
I don't play with it.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, so that's your car and everything. The reason for the stop was for the tent.
Okay.
The back windows are extremely dark. It tested at 3%.
Okay.
You understand that's extremely dark, right?
Okay.
Way too dark.
Okay.
Can't even see through it. That's why I asked y'all to roll down the back window. Okay? It's not her car, so she didn't even have a reason to freak out like that. She got warrants or something? Or she just don't like cops?
I don't know. I thought that because there was no tent on the front window that the back window.
The back windows still have a limit.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's why.
Like I said, there's no problem. I'll take it off right now. It's no problem.
Hannah. What is your cousin's name?
Brianna.
Yeah, because she won't even give me her name.
I got it right here.
Okay. Okay. I think that guy had, he said he don't know what it is, but he said he sniffed it, so it's probably cocaine. Do y'all know what he used?
I need to see him stick this shit by me.
That's what he told me. He said he don't know what it is. I was like, well, how do you ingest it? He was like, I sniff it.
I don't play like that.
So.
No! No! My name is Dave. My name is this when they asked the car, and my mom, she said no. I said, okay. So I want to. Never gonna stop going. I'm dead.
Maximum Turbo, 5 months as a member. If you won the lottery tomorrow, would you leave YouTube? No, I would not. I would definitely change up my streaming schedule so I could spend more time with my family. Because right now I only get the 1 day a week to spend with my family, and it's not enough, quite frankly. I end up having to cram in all kinds of, like tomorrow. Tomorrow's my day off, right? Here's what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm not kidding. This is my day tomorrow. I gotta go to the garbage dump. All right? I got to pick up a few things from stores that we've ordered. I have to go grocery shopping. I have to go get pet supplies. So I have to do all of that stuff. Oh, and I have to get gas for the car because the car is now almost out of gas. So I have to do all of that while I'm out tomorrow. Then I come home and I'm going to order dinner and I'll eat with my wife. And then we have like the night to relax. So out of all the days I work in a week, I get half a day to relax with my wife. That's my time with my wife. Half a fucking day once a week, right? It's crazy. Next week's even worse. Next week, on our day off, my wife and I have 2 different appointments, plus all the other shit we have to do. Like going to Costco and everything. It's like, that's what I need. I need time. But time is money, right? A day that I don't stream is a day that earlier. Yes, I did. This person who sent me the information, they're like, why don't you should just block the camis. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going to block every cami. If I block every cami, I'll never even learn right now. You guys are enjoying the fun, and you will hang out with me. I gotta get it. All right, so here's what I'll do. I'll pause the recording. When I come back, we'll do a live unboxing. All right, so guys, yeah, that's where I'm gonna go. The problem is I don't have an on-break thing to put up for this screen. Can you guys just tell everyone coming in that I'm gonna go get the crown. I'll be right back, and we'll do a live unboxing. All right, it's gonna be like 5-10 minutes. I gotta walk all the way out there, get it, walk all the way back. All right, I'll be right back. What? Bad. Are you ready for this? All right. I have no idea how well this is going to work, but this just arrived. Okay. Now, to be clear, this will be a hat that I will wear in my rotation when I hit my $100 tips goal, which is the hat goal. Okay? Let's see what this looks like. It's gem encrusted. A gem encrusted crown for the king. Multiple gem colors, red, green, and blue. Okay? Look at this. Maybe I'll post some music over there. It doesn't fit. I can't get it any head. Yeah, I guess like. Oh. What's weird? The person asked me what size, and I said we'll probably get a large. But the crown has no size on it. Long intro today. It's because I actually ran to the front of my house to check to see if something had been delivered. I'm waiting. Someone has supposedly donated me a crown to wear on streams as a hat when we hit the tips goal. So, do this co-op stream. We used the Discord when we did their stream. And so I got to figure out like how I can implement getting Discord into OBS for the stream. So they'll be on screen. We'll all be watching the video together. I actually heard you might have to get like the premium version of Discord in order to stream at a higher quality. And if that's the case, maybe I need to do that. Not for this stream. Like this stream will always be, you know, 1080p, 60 frames per second. But like them coming through Discord, right? Like them actually coming through Discord, maybe lower quality unless I pay for the higher quality version. And I don't want those guys to look pixelated and choppy. So I'm gonna wait to hear back. They know what they're doing. They do every show. They're using it. They're the experts on this. I'm sure they're gonna see this. I already sent them a DM. And so we'll talk about it and we'll try to get this worked out by Sunday, okay? So now, what an exciting week coming up. By the way, next week for me anyway is going to be a 5-day streaming week. It's going to be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's my streaming week next week. And Thursday will be my day off next week because actually I have appointments and stuff that I have to do that day. So, yeah, what a week it will be. We'll have a whole day of gaming on Saturday. We'll have a shortened first stream of a podcast and some gaming on Sunday morning. And then we'll do the big co-op react, me and Kino Casino reacting to the Review Tech documentary on this special late stream on DSP Reacts. Monday, we'll do the regular React content all day long. Tuesday and Wednesday will be gaming days, okay? You say, well, what games? Well, there's a lot going on right now. Xbox gives you Discord Nitro for being a Game Pass member. You should check to see if you get that. Oh, how the hell would I check to see if I get that? I would love to get that if it's free. Sure. I don't know how to check that, though. If you, Ellipsian, if you have details on how to do that, because obviously I'm a Game Pass Ultimate member, yeah, as long as it's not the one on Xbox. I'm definitely not going to be doing the React on Xbox. That wouldn't work. We wouldn't be able to import Rich's video. I think what it is in Discord, you tell it like to share screen. So all I'll do is on one screen, I'll put the documentary full screen so that we'll all watching it. And then the other screen will be, the three of us, basically like our cameras will be superimposed over the documentary as we all talk and pause and react to it. Yeah. So, yeah, Ellipsian, if you could give me details on how to do that, that would be great. If I can get Nitro for free, then Street Fighter 6 to
the June sweep it a little bit, but that's something beyond the point. Jay's his own man. If he wants to be cool with Rich, go ahead. Learn your lesson again. I'm out of it. But that doesn't mean I'm going to bend the knee and not talk about Review Tech USA anymore. So
the mighty warband trusted their leader, and that gave them strength.
Today we're talking about a bank promoted by YouTubers that's now become a casino, and users can't get their money out.
This video is sponsored by Yotta Savings.
Yotta, Y-O-T-T-A.
Yotta Savings? The Yotta Savings app, maybe you saw a couple people talk about this.
Yes, I have seen people talk about Yotta recently.
Hey, my name's Daniel. My wife and our family has $18,000 in Yotta that we can't get out.
Over $60,000 frozen up in Yotta.
$15,440.06 frozen in Yotta.
$7,270.60 frozen.
$583.
$98,000 frozen in Yotta.
$94,000, give or take, frozen.
$46,699.
Yeah, it's a disaster, and we're going to break down what happened. Let's start with the basics. A few years ago, Yotta Savings advertised itself as a no-lose lottery through YouTubers, where you get a lottery ticket by saving money rather than spending it. It's called gamified savings, and some took it beyond a sponsorship and bought equity in the company because they liked the idea that much. The most viral example of this was Graham Stephan, who claimed that I bought a bank.
I decided to invest an undisclosed amount, and now I can officially say I am a small owner in Yotta Bank.
Now these videos are deleted, as Yotta has become more than a harmless savings app, and users can't get their money out. But to understand what exactly happened, let's first go back to when they demanded an apology from me back in 2022. They made a brief appearance in a video called The Most Evil Business in the World, and for some reason they didn't like the cameo. They said, quote, "Given these false claims, we would like you to issue a statement in a video clarifying that your claim that Yotta is a scam is false and misleading." Now, I never said that exactly, so I didn't apologize, but I found the next bit a bit more baffling. They tell me, quote, "You could also conduct an interview with Adam Molis, the co-founder and CEO of Yotta, if you wish," which I found odd. Either way, I decided to today take them up on their offer. 2 years later, when I checked back in on Yotta and found customers' accounts have been frozen and their website looked more like a casino than a no-lose lottery. On their app, Yotta now offers roulette, dice, blackjack that you can lose money on. Now, honestly, I was shocked by this. This is the same company that's saying play the no-lose lottery, regular lotteries are scams. For Crypt secretly praises me behind the scenes when you remind him to pay up. I mean, yeah, now he's the type of guy to then sue you.
The mighty warband trusted their leader, and that gave them strength.
Responsible media gone. The children's safety protocol on these platforms, because Twitter and Rumble, and we're going to get to it in particular, have very good safety protocols on their platforms to ensure that advertising is not running against offensive, violent, whatever content. As I explained in the lawsuit, it's one of the most shocking allegations in X's lawsuit against the WFA. You had Unilever saying, we want to make sure that Twitter is taking care of overtly partisan content, specifically the Hunter Biden laptop expose. This was Unilever trying to use its monopoly power through the GARM WFA alliance to coerce social media companies to censor, quote, overtly partisan conduct. This lawsuit is something of an uphill battle because it's based on Sherman Act antitrust violations, the idea being that the WFA, which basically boasts having a monopoly, 90% of all online spending in the order of $900 billion, is exploiting of that monopoly, not just to surreptitiously coerce censorship of social media platforms, but also necessarily causing the prices of advertising to increase as a result of excluding certain platforms from ad spends. They do this notwithstanding the fact that it's against the interests of the advertisers, both in terms of paying more for what they're getting and also being excluded from cost-friendly platforms that actually have very, very good safety protocols, such as Twitter and Rumble. So this lawsuit is out there. It's an uphill battle, as I explained, but it's fascinating to see what's going on. And I then had Chris Pavlovsky on my channel for an interview, the CEO of Rumble, and we talked about this. And I'll show you the clip at the end of this video where when we were talking about GARM, Global Alliance for Responsible Media, the WFA, the World Federation of Advertisers, who are a partner of the WEF, who have actively engaged in what I will call election interference, as we've seen in the allegations of X's lawsuit. Chris Pavlovsky comes out and says, look, we've been disclosing some of these emails, at least two. One was from Dunkin' Donuts saying we don't want to advertise on right-wing content. The other was from, I forget who it was from now, doesn't really matter. Chris Pavlovsky revealed some of these emails which say we don't want to advertise on right-wing platforms. We don't want to advertise on content that hosts Steven Crowder. The only problem being Steven Crowder is also on YouTube. But Pavlovsky comes out and discloses a couple of these emails. Rumble is also suing the WFA on a very similar basis as X.
My for whoever that is, like, when you choose the, everybody get that? That's literally, that's the title. Anyways, let's do this.
I gotta go. Come on.
Get off!
Stop! Stop!
Yeah!
Not the DA anymore.
No, he's not the DA, but he doesn't have power over all of you guys.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
Good luck with that.
On June 19th, 2024, police officers responded to a weapons call. Officers were advised through dispatch that the reporting party called in, stating that a female and a male were allegedly fighting at the park.
Who's them?
I don't know.
Okay, you said it was a couple though?
Yeah, I walked past the park.
Okay, what were they wearing?
I don't know. Red shirt and yeah, she had a purple shirt on.
Okay, okay.
I have a purple shirt on. My bad for wearing purple today, guys.
Yeah.
Really, all this is the situation you guys need to be helping is over there, dog.
Gotcha. Well, I said I'm just here since my partner should give us a few minutes. I'm not sure why he's checking out with you if you're not.
I'm trying to just get my phone before it gets stolen.
Gotcha. Where's your phone at?
I don't know. I lost it walking to my dad's.
You lost it walking to your dad's?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's probably at the other park or where I crossed the street. We show up at work. How do I have? Yeah, I got all of it squashed with the letter, bro.
Sorry, real quick, back.
Excuse me, none of you guys are female. What the hell?
You don't have to be a female to detain me.
Yeah, you guys do. Yeah, you guys do.
Don't pull away, come on.
No, she didn't want to.
Okay, gotcha, this is something that doesn't have to be.
Excuse me, this is harassment?
It's not harassment, you got a warrant.
How do I have a warrant when I got it squashed with your courts?
Not my courts.
Well, I mean, that's the only warrant I have with.
Well, then you get to talk to him again today. Wow.
Oh,
Tomorrow, for holiday.
really? Well, I guess y'all get to get sued by my dad.
Who's your dad again? No, he's not the DA anymore.
No, he's not the DA, but he doesn't have power over all of you guys.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with your.
He was the one that was involved?
Yup! He beat my ass with the and you guys are arresting me! God, please! God, pieces of shit!
Do you want to talk to me about
God, pieces of shit!
Do you want to talk to me about Angel?
I want! You arrested my dumbass when I was the one that got beat!
You weren't making any statements about you were involved in anything, so no.
Because why? Yeah, dude, you guys would arrest my dumbass!
The female suspect.
In the illustrious annals of human achievement, alongside Einstein, Shakespeare, and Armstrong, stands a titan. Behold a man whose fingers danced on arcade buttons with unparalleled grace.
Ask Billy a question, no cursing. You understand me? Billy Mitchell runs a clean shop.
Hey, if you want, I bet you we could stand here all fucking day and have this going. I know. You gotta edit that because I don't cuss.
A symphony of blips and boops, singing a sweet song of victory. In the year of our...
I never questioned Billy Mitchell in the beginning because I believed everything he was telling me.
I grabbed my cell phone, pointed it at the screen, recording my monitor playing the YouTube video, and then I sent the video to myself through Discord, where Discord's compression makes the video look like it's being played back on a TI-83 graphing calculator. Now, seriously, this is what the resulting raw video from Discord looks like being played back inside my video editor. Now, to quickly recap before I show you the results, what we have here is an insanely compressed version of a cell phone video that recorded a monitor playing back a YouTube video of a 16-year-old video taken on a shaky-ass handheld camera, pointed at a shitty television, playing back a VHS tape that was a copy of another VHS tape recorded from a handheld camera pointed at an arcade CRT monitor. There's got to be like no way that we can see anything remotely conclusive here. And if anything, it should look all sus and MAME-like, right? Let's look at the first transition shown in the video, which shows one of the barrel stages loading. At this point, I think we can all pretty much instantly identify the 5-girder transitional frame that's indicative of genuine arcade hardware. What we have here in the first transition that we see in this video, this single frame by itself is already more positive evidence that this is genuine gameplay than we have in the sum total of all of the hours of Billy's footage. Moving on, let's look at the ending of one of the rivet stages to see if we can see the rivet ramp. Well, would you look at that? Even blown up to 400%, I'm willing to bet that you all watching this video can clearly see one more of the obvious indicators of arcade hardware being used, something that we curiously have never seen once in any of Billy's record footage. Now finally, let's look at the two different versions of the same transitional frame they showed at different times throughout this video, with one of them seemingly happening during a mini earthquake. Now looking at these two frames, at worst, by themselves, one could argue that they're inconclusive, given the poor quality, all of the ghosting and frame blending, and the potential for rolling shutter. But along with the other two frames that we've already seen, if you put a gun to my head and made me choose between arcade or MAME, I would feel pretty confident saying that this looks like arcade to me, especially the image on the right, as what we see here looks to me to be the first and second frames of this transition on arcade summed together, which would look exactly like this. So, with the deck completely and utterly stacked against us, in a situation far, far worse than anything Billy has claimed, we don't have a single instance of anything that looks remotely like MAME, and multiple clear indications of genuine arcade hardware. So when it came to this little worst case scenario case study, everything that Jeremy Young presented was consistent with my personal findings. Now finally, it came to doing my own personal testing on an authentic arcade machine, which was going to be difficult considering that I don't own one, although I did have a bit of an ace up my sleeve. Anybody that's seen King of Kong would recognize this place, Fun Spot, the arcade where a noteworthy amount of the documentary was filmed. Now, believe it or not, I actually live within a reasonable driving distance of this Fun Spot location in New Hampshire, so I gave them a call, confirmed they had an original Donkey Kong arcade, and decided to make the pilgrimage there to test for myself. Now, unfortunately, I'm not very good at Donkey Kong. In fact, as far as I could recall, this is the first time I had ever actually played the game. And I was also cognizant of the other people there that wanted to play, so I didn't want to hog the machine. So with that being said, I was only able to replicate a few of the screen transitions presented as a part of Jeremy's evidence package. But in my opinion, what I found was more than enough. Hell, I even managed to complete the rivet stage exactly one time during my entire playthrough. What do you guys think? For my one and only chance at seeing the rivet ramp, was I as unlucky as Billy? Of course not. When it came to all of the personal analysis that I did regarding the footage of Billy's gameplay, with my analysis of MAME, of third-party reference videos, with some unique use case testing, as well as everything I found on my little day trip to Fun Spot, as far as I've been able to determine, everything that Jeremy Young presented in his February 2018 post appears to be entirely accurate. Now, something else that was far too common at this point in the saga was people using evidence presented not only by Jeremy, but also from all of the random people that would end up flooding into the public dispute thread to share their half-baked theories, ultimately coming to the wrong conclusions or making bad arguments. Some people interpreted some of the evidence as indicating that Billy spliced his records, recording multiple pieces at different times and stitching the video together after the fact, something that was never seriously argued or entertained, at least by those we're discussing at the moment. Some folks interpreted the findings as suggesting that Billy played those records live on an arcade machine that was internally running MAME inside of it, something that was never claimed by Jeremy or any of the prominent community members seriously involved in the discussion. Now, interestingly enough, this narrative would ultimately come to be one of the most prominent arguments that Billy would latch onto for the next 5 years, dedicating the vast majority of his time to trying to debunk this one claim that nobody relevant ever actually made. Now, while the people jumping to the wrong conclusions or making unfair claims based on the data were far and away in the minority and were largely irrelevant to the conversation, whether intentional or not, I can't say, and whether it was based on ignorance or a concerted attempt to mislead, I also can't say, it appears as though Billy's response to all of this going forward was to employ an ingenious 4-step strategy. Step 1. Ignore any and all legitimate claims against you, and instead, construct a straw man and focus any and all responses on said straw man. Ensure that you always fail to understand every single aspect of the case against you, and instead, try to focus any and all discussion on the things that you understand the least, as well as the least compelling arguments that random irrelevant trolls made so as not to draw any attention to any of the actual arguments or evidence.
Well, the way the board draws, it's drawing vertically, and it should draw horizontally. No, a Donkey Kong board. You play it on a TV. What do? Come on, smart lady. Now it's horizontal. That's why it draws in a different direction. So when I called the company that made the converter, they said, well, you're not recording off the monitor. That's why it doesn't look the same. You're recording directly from the board onto a TV. So we ran it from the board to the TV. It had the game monitor and it had a TV next to it. And it looked strikingly different, a different monitor. There was a 4-hour Facebook post. MAME, this is arcade. This is MAME, the same game. Looks like arcade, looks like MAME. Because the camera doesn't capture everything. Captures very little, actually, unless you have the original tapes. Is there anything you can plug into a Donkey Kong board, into a Donkey Kong cabinet that would play like MAME? Anything. The only thing that plugs into a Donkey Kong cabinet is a Donkey Kong board. There is no MAME Donkey Kong in the world. Somebody who knows better, correct me if I'm wrong, because there's not. But nobody here has ever seen a Donkey Kong with a MAME board in it. It doesn't exist. we're chasing a ghost.
Step 2. If you ever find yourself in the position of being unable to ignore or avoid any specific accusations, be sure to respond with some half-baked, hand-wavy explanation, and then try to suggest that those arguments were never remotely reasonable, they've long since been debunked, and they originate from untrustworthy people with ulterior motives.
The way that it pops on the screen is not correct. Wait a minute. 3 other high-quality Donkey Kong players, their screens were shown on footage that's on the internet to appear the same way at different points in the game. Gee, I thought we were okay. Gee, the board went to and from Nintendo. Gee, everybody was there.
Step 3. Contradict yourself whenever possible. In order to confuse your enemies to the point where they'll eventually be forced to conclude that it must be their fault that none of what you say makes any sense to them, you need to ensure that you remain as inconsistent as possible. This also comes with the added benefit of allowing you to shift to whatever narrative makes sense in the moment. Any chance you get to state something matter-of-factly that's clearly untrue and easily debunked, do so. At some point, they'll assume that you must know something they don't.
Notice the press release no longer says it's main. They just say that they don't think it's arcade. And it was recorded. And the game was recorded. And there's a room camera, just like one of these, 9 feet in the air, viewing down on the area. It took 6-hour tapes.
Would you consider yourself to be a better Donkey Kong player than Billy Mitchell?
I would say I'm better than Billy Mitchell, yes.
Hello, you absolute legend. Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Then in the other corner, you have Billy Mitchell. Up until now, Steve Wiebe has remained quiet on the Billy Mitchell vs. Twin Galaxies lawsuit. He's effectively remained out of the drama completely, not weighing in with his opinion. But recently, he has returned to fight Billy Mitchell yet again, providing Twin Galaxies with critical evidence that demolishes one of Billy
things online, simply close your eyes and walk away. But what happens when you do close your eyes and walk away, but no matter where you walk away to, you bump right back into it? Whether it's on Twitter, TikTok, or even Twitch. Dasani water. I'm gonna get canceled for this. All these years, and this is what's gonna get me canceled. I don't want to hear it from any water snobs, okay? Where are my fellow Dasani heads at? But anyway, do you like the red hair? A lot of the Twitch thoughts that I'm gonna be talking about have red hair. I felt like I was missing out. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are talking about the Twitch thought epidemic and its consequences, as well as OnlyFans culture and the de-civilization of I promise this will all make sense. Maybe. Like all my videos are just kind of messy brain vomit. I mean, I guess that's one way you could be sure I'm not plagiarizing. When I start to sound smart and make sense, that's a red flag. I figured out how to use ChatGPT. So for those of you who are unaware, Twitch is a video game streaming website. My Twitter timeline. What's going on with Twitch?
The brave hero boldly marched to battle.
Cool ad, I think, just because, you know, they used Also found on the back of the console is a serial port, which is compatible with a seldom-used system link cable, but through a collaboration with SNK, the serial port is also compatible with the Neo Geo Pocket cable, allowing data to be transferred between certain SNK-published Dreamcast titles and their analogous Neo Geo Pocket releases. At this time, the system also included a 36.6 modem, which allowed for online multiplayer play with compatible games, as well as web browsing with the Dream Passport disc that would be included with Japanese consoles. DVD support had been rejected on budgetary grounds, but Sega also wanted to avoid using the CD-ROM format, which by the late 90s was too prone to piracy. As a collaboration with Yamaha, Sega developed the Gigabyte disc, or GD-ROM. The format allows a compact disc to hold 1.2 gigabytes of data, and being proprietary, is neither readable nor theoretically writable by standard CD-ROM drives. Developed in parallel with the Dreamcast was Sega's newest arcade platform, the Naomi. Similarly based around a Hitachi SH4 CPU and Power VR chipset, the Naomi was essentially a beefed-up Dreamcast, and a number of the Naomi's releases, including Crazy Taxi, Power Stone, and Ikaruga, would subsequently be ported to the home. The Dreamcast hit Japanese stores on November 27, 1998 at a price of 29,000 yen, or around $240, and the system's launch lineup was comprised of just 4 titles. Godzilla Generations, July, and Pen Pen Tri-Isolon were all fairly forgettable, but the most popular game by far was Virtua Fighter 3 TB, an updated version of the arcade-only Virtua Fighter 3 that went home with nearly every Dreamcast console at launch. Sega sold 150,000 Dreamcast systems at launch and 300,000 more in the weeks that followed. But with the rumored PlayStation 2 looming on the horizon, Sega wanted to build an installed user base as quickly as possible. But a shortage of graphics chips from NEC prevented the manufacture of additional consoles, with Sega president Iri Majidi estimating that 200 to 300,000 additional systems could have been sold in the weeks after launch. With the Dreamcast's North American launch still half a year away, hype for the system was building, with word of new games hitting the Japanese market, including Sonic Adventure and Sega Rally 2, along with an announced $199 price tag. Behind the scenes, Bernie Stolar was mending fences in the post-Saturn era, ensuring that the Dreamcast would be available wherever games were sold, and, much as he had at Sony, also worked to bring back third-party developers.
At Sega, we put together the hardware to deliver this experience.
But on March 2nd, 1999, Sony held a press conference to announce the PlayStation 2. With the specious promise of a 128-bit CPU, DVD storage media, backward compatibility, and graphical performance that, Sony claimed, would best even high-end silicon graphics workstations, even before launch, the Dreamcast would already be living under the shadow of the PlayStation's then non-existent successor. Sega of America began advertising the forthcoming Dreamcast in the early summer of 1999, beginning with the It's Thinking advertising campaign, a series of print and television ads that may have been a bit too nebulous in that it wasn't always obvious just what it was that Sega was selling. In July, still 2 months away from launch, gamers could rent the Dreamcast along with Sonic Adventure from one of over 1,000 Hollywood video locations nationwide, and at the same time could pre-order the console from one of over 15,000 retail stores. For the North American market, the Dreamcast's modem was upgraded to 56K, and just like the Japanese model, is removable to allow the console to keep up with changes in modem technology. While Sega's dedicated internet service, SegaNet, was still a year away, like the Japanese console, the North American Dreamcast came bundled with a web browser disc, giving the console instant online functionality. None of the Dreamcast's initial games featured online multiplayer play, but a few took rudimentary advantage of the system's teleconnectivity. The following month, due to what Bernie Stolar called a disagreement between himself and Sega chairman Isao Okawa, he was abruptly fired from Sega of America and replaced by underling Peter Moore, who would later oversee the Xbox and Xbox 360 at Microsoft and serve as the head of EA Sports. The Dreamcast was launched at the stroke of midnight on Thursday, September 9th, 1999, known affectionately as 9999. Between Thursday and Sunday, Sega sold 372,000 units, 300,000 of which were pre-orders, and after the nearly 1 million Dreamcast consoles that were part of the initial shipment had sold through, American retailers had trouble keeping the hardware in stock in the weeks that followed. As was standard for the PlayStation, the Dreamcast came bundled with a demo disc. The first such disc was Dreamcast Generator Volume 1, which features playable demos of 6 of the system's launch games, plus Sega Bass Fishing, as well as 2 non-interactive movies. In a continuing effort to put pressure on Sega prior to the release of their own PlayStation 2, ahead of the Dreamcast's launch, Sony dropped the price of the PlayStation to $99 and scheduled the release of Final Fantasy VIII for September 9th. But on that day alone, Sega sold over 225,000 consoles and brought in almost $100 million, which at the time stood as a one-day world record. Just like the chip shortage that hampered the console's release in Japan, the Dreamcast's domestic debut was marred by a rash of defective discs, affecting a large fraction of some game titles. Nevertheless, the North American launch was a huge success, and unlike Japan's meager 4-game lineup, on September 9th, 19 games were on store shelves, 4 of which were among the top 10 best-selling games in the month of September. While zombies in popular media, thanks to the release of 2 games, Capcom's Resident Evil, which itself inspired the numerous zombie-based survival horror games still being made to this day, and Sega's The House of the Dead, a light gun game developed by Sega AM1 using the Virtua Cop engine. With gameplay expectedly similar to Virtua Cop, The House of the Dead is an on-rail shooter in which you have to fight your way through waves of zombies in order to save your girlfriend from the clutches of a mad scientist. The House of the Dead was ported from the Model 2 arcade platform to the Saturn in 1998, but that same year, AM1 developed its sequel, The House of the Dead 2 for the Sega Naomi. This was ported to the Japanese Dreamcast in the spring of 1999 before becoming a North American launch title.
The House of the Dead.
Aside from some awful voice acting, the game is a solid rail shooter even when played with the standard controller, but naturally shines when played with a light gun. Sega's Dreamcast gun was the official first-party gun released in Japan, but due to the then recent Columbine shooting, Sega chose not to release the peripheral in North America. Instead, in this region, the Dream Blaster by Mad Catz served as the official light gun, while Interact's Starfire Light Blaster was also available on launch day. Like the first game, The House of the Dead 2 features branching paths, with the player's direction dictated by split-second reactions.
Thanks. You can get outside that way.
While The House of the Dead 2 is one of only a small handful of Dreamcast games with light gun support, thanks in part to the system's limited lifespan, at least for fans of the genre, The House of the Dead 2 on its own made the light gun a worthy purchase on launch day. The developer with the largest presence on launch day was arcade mainstay Midway, and while 4 of their day 1 releases had arcade roots, the 5th, Ready to Rumble Boxing, was developed specifically for home consoles. Ready to Rumble is an over-the-top arcade-style boxing game in the same vein as Nintendo's Punch-Out series. The game takes its name from the famous line uttered by Michael Buffer, who served as the ring announcer for seemingly every boxing match you've ever seen, and who reprises that role for this game.
The invincible Boris the Bear Nakama! I have enhanced superior training.
With a cartoony cast of characters and an approachably simple control scheme, Ready to Rumble includes a standard arcade mode, which includes basic 1 and 2 player play, but also features a meatier single-player championship mode, in which you fight in prize matches to earn the money you'll need to both train your fighter and enter title matches. The 4 face buttons on the Dreamcast controller correspond to left and right high and low punches, and the game being 3D allows you to roam around the ring rather than being stuck in one spot. Landing harder punches will fill up your rumble meter, which can both power up your character and let you unleash the rumble flurry. Ready to Rumble Boxing has a slick presentation with graphics that, while colorful, also show off the power of the system. The characters are highly detailed and smoothly animated, and even display visible injuries as the fights go on. The game offers an entertaining single-player experience, but really shines when played with a friend, and its popularity during the Dreamcast's heyday made it one of just 17 titles and one of 7 launch games to be included in Sega's All-Stars lineup of budget game releases.
Was pushed back for now.
Largely forgotten by the sands of time, Expendable was created by British developer Rage Software and is a 3D run-and-gun game not unlike Loaded or Contra Legacy of War. You take the role of a super soldier who has to fight off an invading alien race in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. The game employs a top-down oblique perspective, and through the use of the Dreamcast's triggers, allows you to strafe as you fire off a variety of weapons. Sadly, what this game would really benefit from is the dual-stick controls used in games like Smash TV, but that of course was not possible with the Dreamcast's controller. In the old-school tradition, Expendable features 20 discrete levels, most of which culminate in a boss battle. And thankfully, as the game is tough, also allows for 2-player cooperative gameplay. The game received mostly lukewarm reviews upon release, understandable as it feels more like an early PlayStation title than an early Dreamcast one. That being said, 20 years later, when none of that really matters anymore, Expendable is actually pretty fun. The game has an atmosphere-appropriate soundtrack and great sound effects, and the graphics still look great in 480p. People seem to take the term weekend rental to be derogatory, but it's meant to describe games like Expendable, which, while perhaps not worth full price when released, still have what it takes to provide at least a few days worth of fun. The genre with the largest representation on launch day was actually racing, making up 7 of the 19 games available. Japanese launch day release Pen Pen Tri-Isolon had, for better or worse, reprised its role as a North American launch title. The game features penguin-like creatures called Pen Pen competing in an ice triathlon, or Tri-Isolon. The game certainly isn't short on character, once again looks great in 480p, and does support 2- and 4-player split-screen versus modes. But, awkwardly, it's a kid's game on a console that was not being marketed towards children, and I suspect that Pen Pen Tri-Isolon may have been the least popular title on launch day. Half racing game and half extreme sports title, Trick Style is a hoverboard game developed by racing specialist Criterion Games, who would later develop the hit cross-platform series Burnout. After choosing a rider, you'll enter the Velodrome, a skate park that offers areas in which to freestyle, a trainer who has various challenges for you to complete, and a hub from which you can depart to the races that make up the real meat and potatoes of the game. At least early on, the races aren't too challenging and can be won fairly easily after a bit of track familiarization. Trick Style has a total of 18 races run on 14 unique tracks, but each track has to be unlocked one by winning the previous race. Trick Style is really the tale of 2 games. While the racing portion is a lot of fun, the freestyling is not. Unlike games like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, your character doesn't start off knowing many tricks, and has to learn them by beating the trainer in various challenges which are ultimately required to advance the game. But while Trick Style's controls are adequate for racing, they lack precision, turning the training challenges into exercises in frustration. The game has impressive visuals, especially for a launch title, and like a few other of the Dreamcast's launch day offerings, is not technically VGA compatible, but can be tricked into running in 480p. The techno soundtrack is reminiscent of games like Wipeout, which seems like it could take place in the same universe as Trick Style, and was composed by influential hip-hop artist Curtis Mantronic. Trick Style also includes a VMU game, Trick Style Jr., which is really just their version of Snake, the first cell phone game that most people played when it was included with the Nokia candy bar phones that were seemingly ubiquitous around the turn of the millennium. Trick Style is a game that I really want to like. The racing is reminiscent of SSX, which is one of the best titles available at the launch of the PlayStation 2.
Frontside 360, frontside 180.
In fact, so similar is the racing to SSX, in terms of atmosphere, gameplay, even the racers talking smack to one another, that I have to assume that the developers at EA were playing the former while developing the latter. But while SSX chose to do one thing and do it well, the inclusion of the freestyling component, along with controls that simply aren't up to the task, sadly prevent Trick Style from being one of the standout titles of the Dreamcast's launch. In the 1990s, the Nashville Network, better known as TNN, was a cable television station primarily centered around country music, but that also featured extensive motor racing coverage from a wide variety of racing series. When CRI's Buggy Heat was brought over from the Japanese Dreamcast, a TNN license was added and the presentation altered, with the game now called TNN Motorsports Hardcore Heat. The game is, as the Japanese title would suggest, based on off-road dune buggy racing with a very arcade-like feel. Some reviewers complained about the game's controls, and while there is some validity to this criticism, as it is easy to lose control of your vehicle, the Dreamcast triggers are analog for a reason. Emphasis is placed on driving smoothly rather than treating hardcore heat like a drag race. And once you wrap your head around this, there's plenty of fun to be had.
Nice timing. Yes!
Hardcore Heat also has some of the best graphics of any of the launch titles and an appropriately hard rock themed soundtrack. All that being said, on launch day, Hardcore Heat might not have been a game that you'd want to drop $50 on, but once again would have made for a great weekend rental.
Finish!
2 real-world racing games were available on September 9th, one based on the kart series, better known as IndyCar, and the other on Formula One. Released in Japan as Super Speed Racing, Flag to Flag is a fully licensed IndyCar game developed by Zoom Incorporated and published by Sega. The game features 27 real-world drivers on 18 teams and 19 tracks, although the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is noticeably missing. The game's controls take some getting used to, as in an apparent attempt to mimic real-world physics, your car's steering becomes less responsive as your speed increases. Once I got used to this, however, I found a racing game that was far more enjoyable than most reviews would lead you to believe. As is the case with real-world IndyCar racing, Flag to Flag features a nice balance of both ovals and road circuits, which is a refreshing change from most racing games. As a whole, the audio visuals are nothing special, but there are little details here and there that stand out. For example, when playing from the driver's perspective, dead bugs will accumulate on your visor, and you'll actually wipe them off from time to time. The game is probably not worth tracking down today, but at the launch of the Dreamcast, if you are a motor racing fan looking for something pseudo-realistic to play, Flag to Flag was definitely your best bet. Monaco Grand Prix was developed by Ubisoft and released on the PlayStation, Nintendo 64, and Dreamcast. The game is licensed by the Automobile Club of Monaco rather than the FIA, so all of the team and driver names are fake, but 17 real-world Formula One tracks are included. While the game looks good, how well it controls varies wildly according to which view you select. The guy on the radio yelling at me to hurry up is also irritating.
Hurry up!
But thankfully he can be shut off, as can the obnoxious music.
Hurry up! Checkpoint!
By the time of this game's release, the PlayStation had already hosted the Psygnosis-published Formula One series for several years, and by comparison, Monaco Grand Prix just feels substandard. Which is unfortunate, because the inclusion of a retro game mode that allows you to drive a classic pre-Aero F1 car around a caricature of the Nürburgring would otherwise make this a standout title. Speaking of standout titles, another of Midway's launch day releases was a home conversion of their speedboat racing hit Hydro Thunder.
Hydro Thunder!
Which at the time of the Dreamcast's release was itself only 6 months old. No stranger to arcade racing games, Midway's prior releases include the Cruisin' series, as well as the Rush series. Hydro Thunder is the first installment in Midway's Thunder series and was followed by Off-Road Thunder and Arctic Thunder. At the outset of this game, you choose from one of 3 speedboats and one of 3 easy tracks.
Thunder Park!
Once the race begins, you pick up boost fuel along the track, which obviously provides you with a speed boost, but also imparts your boat with the mighty hull, allowing you to plow through fellow racers. Boosting also allows you to perform the boost jump, which both enables you to grab seemingly out-of-reach power-ups and is needed to access many of the track's shortcuts, which are a key to success in the game.
Hey, you found a secret!
Hydro Thunder does have a soundtrack, but it's almost inaudible over the chorus of sound effects that, while loud, both make the game more immersive and more arcade-like. The graphics, which look great, are interesting in that the boats and foregrounds are vividly colorful, while the backgrounds have a more realistic look. The level designs are all unique to one another, with each feeling like a themed Disneyland ride. There are a total of 13 tracks, 10 of which need to be unlocked. This alone is no small feat, and in itself provides countless hours of gameplay, but thankfully you can save your progress to the VMU so that there's no need to try to unlock everything in one sitting. You can also play two-player split screen, which, within the practical limitations of home hardware, is a welcome feature, but pales in comparison to a pair of arcade cabinets networked together. Hydro Thunder provides an awesome arcade-at-home experience, but it would have been nice to see the game better fleshed out for the Dreamcast, perhaps including options like Championship and Time Attack modes. Even as is, the game is still legendary among the Dreamcast library, and sat near the top of a launch lineup that already included multiple must-buy games. Japanese street racing was at its peak in the late 80s and 90s, even making its way into pop culture in the form of manga series such as Initial D and Wangan Midnight. Cars like Toyota Supras, Nissan Skylines, and Mazda RX-7s were modified so they could reach speeds upwards of 200 miles per hour, and in the wee hours of the night were raced, illegally of course, on Tokyo's Shuto Expressway. In 1996, Japanese game developer Genki released Tokyo Highway Battle on the PlayStation. The game allows you to modify a number of classic Japanese sports cars and race them on various courses modeled after Tokyo's highway system. In the summer of 1999, Genki released Shutoko Battle on the Japanese Dreamcast, and the game was brought to North America as a launch title under the name Tokyo Extreme Racer. Endorsed by Import Tuner magazine, Tokyo Extreme Racer continues the formula started by Highway Battle, and while simple arcade modes are available, the Quest mode is really the main event of the game. You start off with a modest sum of money with which you buy your first car. The cars are all referred to by their real-world chassis codes, as this was the parlance of the Japanese street racing scene, but they can be renamed when purchased. Driving around a large circuit of Tokyo's expressway, rival drivers are identified on an overlaid map. Pulling up behind them and flashing your high beams triggers the race, but unlike the lengthy multi-lap races of Tokyo Highway Battle, Extreme Racer lacks a delineated finish line. Rather, both you and your rival have what basically amount to life meters, which deplete when either car falls behind. With the money earned from these races, you can further modify your car in order to boost performance, as well as purchase additional cars. While the game received average reviews at the time of its release, both Tokyo Extreme Racer and its sequel are fan favorites on the Dreamcast, and it's easy to see why. The game features the car collection and customization aspects of Gran Turismo in a trimmed-down package with a more arcade-like feel. Of the 6 racing games available on launch day, Tokyo Extreme Racer arguably offered the most complete gameplay experience and would have been well worth picking up for even the most casual of racing fans. The lone launch title published by Activision, Blue Stinger is a dark comedy survival horror game developed by the same team that would later produce cult classic Illbleed. The game takes place off of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula on the obviously fictitious Dinosaur Island, where a series of events has led to mass deaths and the outbreak of a variety of mutants and monsters. You take control of the main character Elliot.
This is Elliot Balad, Eastern Troop C-730, over.
But are quickly joined by a sidekick named Dogs, and you can switch between them freely throughout the game. Maybe coincidentally, or maybe not, the two characters are voiced by the same actors who performed the roles of Sonic and Dr. Robotnik in fellow Dreamcast launch game Sonic Adventure.
My name is Elliot G. Balad. Who are you?
Dogs. I'm a captain of the SS Deanna.
As is the case with the genre in general, you roam around a semi-open world fighting monsters and completing tasks in order to advance the storyline. Blue Stinger is considered by some to be so bad that it's good, but I don't see what's so bad about it. The controls aren't perfect and there are issues with the moving camera, but these were common problems with games of that era. The plot is engaging, the voice acting is above average, and if there's one thing that the game isn't guilty of that many others of its ilk are, it's taking itself too seriously. As you find yourself buying weapons out of vending machines and engaging in comically bloody battles with mutants in a shopping mall while Christmas music blares over the PA system, it becomes quite obvious that the game has its figurative tongue planted firmly in its cheek.
Come back again, and don't forget to bring your stamp card. See ya!
Blue Stinger also stands out among the launch lineup as one of only 2 games that has a plot-driven, sink-your-teeth-into-it style of gameplay, rather than the more arcadey pick-up-and-play character shared by the majority of Day 1 releases. Blue Stinger is often unfairly compared to games like Resident Evil, when what it is the video game version of an intentionally campy horror movie. If Weird Al Yankovic's Slime Creatures from Outer Space, an issue of Tales from the Crypt, and a copy of Army of Darkness sounds to you like the recipe for a good time, Blue Stinger is likely right up your alley.